and welcome to Design or Design. My name is Maria and this video is going to be all about the small accessory trends. Earrings, bracelets, jewelry, not fine jewelry though, just jewelry, yes. In the next part I will be covering more of the bigger accessories like belts, scarves, what else is there? Tights, etc. I already have videos about the shoes trends, the bag trends, the hat trends. So this is everything else basically. And let's get started with the most relevant trend that I've seen on the runways, which are the statement accessories. And we'll go through each one. Right now we're seeing the earrings. These could be either something on a chunkier side, something on a longer side, or maybe just really interesting shapes, interesting colors, interesting anything. So when it comes to earrings, you need to think about their weight, especially if you don't want your ears to sag. This is one of the things that I'm always cautious about when it comes to really large statement earrings. There are earrings that you can hook onto your ear and they will hold their weight on top of it, not generally on the bottom. You can see some of them are really unique hoop shapes, like in Etro here there's like a lady shape in a hoop and it's bright colors. We see more bohemian style earrings as well, maybe with a little bit of a fringe, maybe it's a little bit more like pendants and coins. Diesel had more of the see-through earrings, off-white. All of the earrings were basically plain, so like something like this, but it's a plain. Interesting. Missoni had some really large button earrings. We also see them in a variety of different shows, so they're quite close to the ear. They're not like quite hanging. So if I were to do this, this would be a perfect example. You can see here Nina Ricci having these massive button earrings, or something like a wing that covers most of the ear. I wonder how well they can hear in those. Maybe they actually make it better for you to hear because they're little platters on your ears. Having these really incredibly massive earrings, and sometimes they're paired with some kind of a neck accessory as well, and sometimes they just stand on their own. It's just up to your style, your preferences. Moving on to more of the highlighting the neck. Here in Dress Van Noten we have these incredible large sculptural artistic things. Jill Sanders more on a smaller side, but come on, if you have very minimalistic outfit, that's already going to be a statement. This also covers the rings, right? It's a little bit harder to capture rings on runway just because models are moving their hands. It's a little bit trickier unless there is a cameraman especially dedicated for rings and purses. It's really difficult to find any rings. Massive rings, maybe overlapping several fingers. Is it one stone? Is it not? Lots of that. We also see a large number of really chunky, bulky bracelets. Right now I have two on. One by themselves wouldn't really be considered that chunky, but I feel like them stacked together, it brings that attention and emphasis onto that statement bracelet. We see that a lot in Schiaparelli, almost having the bracelet go up the arm to an elbow point. Lots of variations, stacking, not stacking, maybe just having those Wonder Woman shields on there. Of course, their famous face sculptures. Nina Ricci also had really similar to the earrings, really voluminous or rounded bracelets. I wonder how heavy they are. Alaya here also having either a spiral or that massive huge bracelet. Also wonder how they put that on their wrists. It doesn't look like it opens up or anything. Sometimes we see the models walking with just one, sometimes they're walking with both of their arms in bracelet. It depends on your outfit. Here in Saint Laurent we have a metal bracelet with some kind of stones on there, and they're quite big. It could be either a color, it could be a shape, or just the grand size of it. In Balmain, they did have quite a few of the bracelets being on the chunkier side as well, with more of a feminine silhouette happening. Balenciaga had more of the crystallized story, having more of a glam vibe to their interesting outfits. Here we see in Isabel Marant bracelets higher up on the arm as well. This is one of the trends that I want you to keep in mind. For me, I don't really like to highlight my upper arms just because they're bigger, and that is what this bracelet does. But if you do have very sporty, slender arms, you might as well try that out. We also see this trend in Gucci women's show of having multiple, like really similar bracelets on the bottom of the wrist as well as on the upper arm. We also see this in Miu Miu, but what they did is use like almost belts on the upper arm, stacking them with different types of bracelets. You can see here it's holding up the jacket arm here. That's pretty cool. I might try to do that, especially if it's over top of a different jacket, and you can see the stacking of them is really pretty cool, as well as use of the arm warmers, I would say. All right, let's move on to highlighting our colors. So we see a lot of jewelry that is collarbone length, and it is quite big, it's quite in your face, might feature some stones. Maybe it's a little bit more of a choker, like here in Schiaparelli. We also see more of beaded fringe on the necklines, and they seem to be a lot of them, at least exactly the color length. Here in Prada, we see really large beads. Here in Fendi, we see more of that. Is it like a leather something and a chain? It looks pretty cool. Isabel Marant having more of the wooden beads in there and metals, really boho vibes. Etro, more of a chunkier chain, and Missoni had several really unique necklaces. There were several square necklaces around the neck, multiple rings around the neck, as well as this necklace that goes into the arm. So it's a bracelet necklace part situation. There were both circular and square. Quite unique, definitely something to look out for. Wonder how comfortable that is to wear. Valentino had a lot of layering of the necklaces. Bottega Veneta here with their matches and candies. So it doesn't have to be big, it just has to be a good, unique thing too. Here in Balenciaga, we see crystallized chokers, Stella McCartney, the doves as a pendant or as a necklace, really large, powerful statement pieces. Schiaparelli here with a sun, and another one was a layered longer necklaces that are like either really chunky or just really long and massive. So here we see having multiple threads of really chunky beads paired with the bracelets or paired with the chunky earrings, or all three in one. This is pretty intense. It would not suit all of the styles out there, but the styles that would work well with it would be the boho, eclectic, maximalist, glam, maybe romantic, depending on your style, on the sizes of those accessories, on the volume of those accessories. Would also work with grunge, but you need to figure out like the style of the accessory itself. It can't really be like what I'm wearing right now. That would not suit it. Maybe like large skulls, large spikes, something along the lines. As I briefly mentioned, the earrings could be very long, and that would be their statement piece. We see several shows of having crystallized regular earrings going like to the collarbone. We also see much longer earrings like we see here in Simon Rocha. We also see this in Valentino going even lower. Once again, more of that fringe effect, very eclectic chic, and could be glam as well. We also see Jill Sanders with more of the fringing of threads maybe. Once again, very long earrings, might be mistaken for hair. Alaya had such long earrings that they were connected and worked both as earrings and a necklace. This is very dangerous to wear because if you accidentally pull on it and it's not attached correctly or there is no release mechanism, then you would rip out your ears. There is a few of them that were more of like a headband that connected, that is more wearable for sure. We see also really long fish skeletons in Zimmerman's show, very boho chic. Isabel Marant had those feathers. Remember, like back in 2010, those earrings with feathers, I still have so many of them. Also metallic fringes in the Chloe. Tory Burch, on a little bit lighter side compared to everything else, but once again, more of that, a little bit of a bohemian mixed with sporty, interesting combination. Mugler had more of a spike of a claw or something. We see it here as well. And Acne Studios here, more of those color length and accessories, maybe chains. Maybe they're not as big as we just seen previously, but if your outfit is more minimalistic, these are already statement pieces that would pop up in your subtle outfit. Well, here you can see Bottega Veneta. They have little candies for their earrings. That is already something interesting, something unique, something statement worthy. All right, moving on to the next one, and this is asymmetric earrings. I feel like every time, every single season, I see these on the runways and I love them. I almost never wear the same earrings anymore, unless they're like something like this, which I can't really find a different pairing with, but I love having asymmetric earrings on. They give such a cool vibe, and I don't feel bad anymore if I lose one earring. I can just simply find a different pair for them to work with, and that's great. So we see like different hoops, one smaller, one larger in Fendi. We see maybe different lengths or something along with a similar idea, but maybe two different colors. Here in Schiaparelli, they completely have two different earrings, and I love it. It adds so much more interest to the outfit, and it's really cool. And when you have two different earrings, nobody is saying, oh, you lost one, let me help you find one if you're just wearing the one. But if you're wearing two separate different earrings, somebody might think, hey, this is interesting. But if you do have kind of a storyline between the earrings, not just your brain, then it would look more put together and really interesting to the eye, and somebody would want to look more deeply into your outfit as well. So here there are some examples of just one single earrings. Yes, for sure. You can think about your outfit too. Does it have any asymmetry? Would it need any asymmetry? Honestly, sometimes I'm looking at the models, I'm like, did they actually lose one earring? Here we see the different geometric shapes. Rabana here having more of a ear guard, Roxanda having more of an art object on a single ear, Chloe, it's a little bit more bohemian, a little bit more eclectic, so having some different earrings is really cool, and I love this idea for those styles. And apart from this, let's talk about the styles that we'll work with. Pretty much any style, maybe not preppy, because it gives too much of that playful energy, and preppy usually is like old money. You need to have a pair of something. Pendants. Yes, there are several really unique statement pendants as well, but they're also just a casual pendant here and there. We see them on a shorter chain as well on a longer mosquito here with a cheeky pen as a pendant. Versace just having their logo there. It's pretty cool, really effortless, and I'm sure that we have lots of those in our treasure chests that we can just wear out. You can layer them, you can wear them on your own. Balenciaga here having more of that larger pendant happening. Balmain having more of a longer one, and that might be even like their cologne or their makeup, maybe the lipstick in there with a little bit of a metallic fringe as well. Elie Saab, you can see the long pendant hanging with another color statement or just on its own. Isabella Marant having more of that, either a shark tooth or a feather on there as well, off-white, a little bit more sporty, more minimalistic, just a single pendant. Zimmermann, once again, a very bohemian style inspired, having multiple necklaces with something hanging. This looks a little bit more like a bolo tie, but having different ends with more bulk to them. And Chloe, a lot of bohemian references here. And if you guys are a fan of them, you can check out my video about the bohemian style and what you should look out for and buy if you aim to be in this style. The longer pendants usually work best with a V cutout, but you can all see that they have been paired with so many different things. If it's either a V-neck or it's over top of something else as well, or it's peeking out through a blazer that's been buttoned up at the top, or just hanging out like you're a lord of some sort here in Valentino. All right, the next one is just briefly wanted to mention pearls. Yes, they're still here with us, maybe not to the grand extent that they were several seasons back, but you can still wear them if you do have them, if it's part of your style. These definitely would suit better, very elegant styles such as the preppy style, classical style. You can see here in Dior, Celine as well, but in Moschino they were paired with some more really interesting street style looks, and they were worn all over the outfits, really long strands of pearls or some kind of earring pieces, different sizes as well, some a little bit larger, some maybe just multiple strands around the neck. I loved how they accessorized the pearls, having it go down the back more than the front. It's really cool. Once again, that ear-to-ear accessory, a little bit scary and dangerous. Valentino was also a fan of pearls, also layering them with other accessories, maybe over even a tie or just on their own or paired with a different necklace, and worn both by men and women. All right, you guys, next one I want to talk about are the brooches. It seems like we have definitely entered the era of the revival of the brooches. There are more and more of them on street style, on runways. We see a lot of the lapel accessorization as well as the collar pins on several shows. Kenzo here, you can see they're all over the garment. I'm pretty sure that they are like permanent on there, but you can definitely use your brooches and accessorize your tops. Just make sure that you are okay with maybe a little bit of ripping on that shirt, just because sometimes brooches aren't the best. Anyways, we see lots of suiting, lots of outerwear accessorized by a single brooch or multiple. We also seen a trend of pins being accessories for hats. I've actually put that down as one of the trends for hats, of having pins on there. We also see more dramatic brooches, maybe like florals, like here in Versace. Pretty sure they're like made of plastic, and that's pretty cool. So you can do that as well. Here, Bottega Veneta, once again, with the collar pins. They're pretty cool little ladybugs, I think. We also see like little frogs that kind of cinch a garment together, so it creates a little bit more of a shape. Accessorizing with pins, with brooches, with anything would make your outfit stand out and make it a little bit more unique, a little bit more personal. If we're thinking about the styles that this would work to, definitely grunge with pins. Romantic, maybe if it's like little bows or something. For boho, yes, if there are like thrifted vintage pieces, for sure. See, we have that in Valentino here. Eclectic, yes. Maximalist, glam, you just need to figure out maybe just like a one brooch and it's like being very shimmery. Military, maybe like a medal of some sort. Minimalist, usually just don't like anything, so maybe not. For sporty, maybe you can even wear a medal of some sort too. And preppy, yeah, preppy could do. Maybe a logo of your college or something. Next one would be charms on bracelets, charms on something else. So we see quite a lot of charm things. Like we see bags with charms, we see accessorized hats with pins. So something that you could customize to yourself, I think would be a really big one. Although we've seen it in just a few shows, but I feel like there is a future behind this. Okay, next trend is layering. Almost with all of the previous trends, I've been mentioning that you could layer it. And yes, the overall trend for accessories would be layering them together. We see either like small strands of jewelry layered together, or maybe something more chunkier like here in Saint Laurent, as well as Valentino here, really large statement pieces. Celine had more of the delicate, longer chains with pearls and other stones, like maybe a little cross in there as well, really swooping, lots of interest in there. You can also see here example of Zimmermann layering, making it a little bit more bohemian, even totally different types. Is that a bandana underneath? I have no idea. There is like a small tie, there is shell necklace, whatever might be, and more interest in the neckline. Diesel also had the metallic chains in a layering. They also had the tops that looked as if they had the accessories underneath them. We also see this trend in the bracelets, as I mentioned before, chunky bracelets stacked on top of each other. There were several shows that did this, and yeah, make sure to get those bracelets out and start stacking them together. Missoni here with the square bracelets, they're all stacked on top of each other. You can have both of your arms stacked with bracelets. I only have enough to do the one, and they're really cool. Maybe a little bit noisy, the only downside to that, but I like them nevertheless. Here we see again Zimmermann and Isabel Marant having more of that. We have the necklaces here in undercover, layering them together for a men's show. Maybe it's a chain, maybe it's more of a lace type intricate necklace. Is it like 3D printed? Probably. Louis Vuitton, once again, having more of the longer chains, lots of them stacked together. And for this layering trend, which styles would work best with them? I feel like definitely boho, eclectic, maximalist, glam, romantic maybe. We see grunge if you have the right accessories. Like the previous ones have one type of accessory, grunge would have a different type of accessory, but still can work. Preppy might also be okay with it if it's more of the dainty necklaces or the longer necklaces with pearls and like Chanel signs, all of that jazz. We also seen the layering in belts. I know that I mentioned that I'm not going to be talking about them, but just because I'm talking about layering, we see lots of the belts layered on top of each other, especially the biggest brand that did this was in Miu Miu. They had several different types of belt. Maybe it's a leather belt and then a chain belt over that, and maybe just a different chain belt over that as well. So 3 belts paired in one. Schiaparelli also had the chain and the leather belt in one. I know I've been sharing a lot of very big, exaggerated accessories, but don't worry, there were smaller ones as well. They're just not as a large component of it. on the runways as there were really large, enormous ones. So yes, if you love minimalistic jewelry, that's completely fine. You can still wear them. Don't go for the trends just because they're there. Go for something that suits your lifestyle. Maybe you can't wear an earring that connects both ears just because you have children and then you might tag on it and rip out your ears. That is not fun at all. I can imagine. Like, my ears are already like in pain, like shrinking. So you can see here, there were examples of nicer, simpler accessories on runways as well. You can still wear it. You can do what you want. I'm just here to show you beautiful videos in a well-organized manner. That's all I'm here to do. Alright, you guys, this video is done. I really appreciate you watching to the end. If you want to support me, all you need to do is like this video, maybe leave me a nice little comment, and if you're not already, please do subscribe so you wouldn't lose my valuable, at least I think it's valuable, extensive research and visual aid for you. And if you're a superstar, you can also share it on your social media. Thank you. Speaking of social media, I'm on Instagram where I share my daily outfits and a little bit from my life, maybe behind the scenes of a fashion show or a artistic photo shoot. So you can check me out on there. And don't forget to write that you're from YouTube. I love going into your guys' profiles and seeing what your style is, because right now, like, I'm talking to a camera. I don't see you. It's really hard to connect with a person that you can't really physically see, but there it's so much fun for me to see what your guys' style, how you use clothes to tell the world who you are. It's pretty incredible. Well, you guys, the end of part 1. Make sure to check out part 2 soon. But other than that, I hope you're gonna have an amazing rest of the day, and yeah, stay classy. Bye.